Just putting the slides up. In the meanwhile, I just have a couple of questions for you guys. How many entrepreneurs do we have in the room? Oh, damn. Are you guys still doing all blockchain? Wow. How many people in the room actually are still very early stages learning about blockchain? You should be the only one listening to my presentation. And how many people are entrepreneurs in France? Wow. Germany? Oh, you are in France and Germany both? Yes. Okay. And how many people from the other parts of Europe apart from Germany and France? Sumit, entrepreneurs from other places. Okay. Okay. Somebody wants to give a shout out to like what countries are you guys from? I just want to get an idea of how the landscape is in Europe happening for blockchain. Denmark. Of course. What else? That's all the innovation coming from? Italy. Oh, wow. How is blockchain happening in Italy? Is there any successful, like, big blockchain company we would know, which has raised a fund or have already done an application? No, not yet. There should be a good wine or food company coming out of Italy, or fashion. Yeah? Okay, you ready? Okay, let's go. So my name is Kavita Gupta. I work at Consensus Ventures. How many of you guys know about Consensus Ventures? Good. Oh, Jerome, great. Good to know. Awesome. This is why we should not do PDF and we should do PPT. My presentation is cut. Okay. No. It's going to come like this. Okay. So we started Consensus Ventures almost 2 years back now. Wow. It's a $50 million fund, which is with only GP from Consensus to invest into Ethereum ecosystem. We invest across the whole stack, from applications all the way to protocol, and all the infrastructure, side chains, scalability solutions, anything and everything on Ethereum which we think is going to really move the needle. We invest across it. Consensus has more than 33 country offices by now, but for ventures, we have our team across San Francisco, New York, Berlin, and London. And with the help of the whole Consensus ecosystem throughout the world, we also source deals from our local country offices. So far, we have done, the announced investments have been around 16. But today, we also actually, for the first time, going to share with you, before it goes public, 2 more new investments which we are announcing today. So very excited about that. We invest globally. Our portfolio companies are from all over the world. We have invested in France very recently, UK. We have companies out of Asia, and of course, US. Our sweet spot, we invest anywhere between $250K to $2 million, but our sweet spot is somewhere $500 to $1 million. I have to go like this. Okay. So these are the companies in 2017 and 18 which we invested into. I'm going to quickly go through some of them. unlock protocol, which basically lets you monetize your content. Think about your tweeting, retweeting, or you're putting a content on Medium or something. You can actually monetize for that. Starkware, coming out of Israel, is one of the really big scalability solution from the ex-founder of Zcash. BlockFi, it's a crypto lending platform. It also has been one of our top success stories so far. We were the first check-in at the very, very early stage when it was still a deck. Today, BlockFi very recently closed their Series A round, along with $50 million lending pool from Galaxy. And around 1.2 million users, lenders around there. True Digital is one of the first derivative product market creating secondary liquidity out of US, but now going global. They're starting with Ether futures, and hopefully with the new announcement that the Bitcoin futures are going to be reality very soon, I think places like True Digital are really going to create that secondary liquidity. Big shout out to Dada. We have one of the co-founder of Dada here, Judy. Dada is art collectible platform. And the very unique thing which got us very excited, like we always believe that blockchain is to take away the middle people. But the thing which got us really excited about Dada is a platform where you can actually just, as an artist, you can just go and also paint at the same time, or you can upload photos, and you can then create a collectible out of it. So anybody in the audience who just wants to go and create something, doesn't have to be like a bona fide artist, can basically go and be creative. Vault is very interesting. It's one of those cases where it started as a mobile wallet for interoperability, and then became one of the biggest open markets for non-fungible tokens successfully. And the first app which is available on Apple Store, which also not only let the tokens, non-fungible tokens rotate, but also let the crypto payment happen. Then we have Rocket Pool out of Australia, which is the first syndicated platform over Casper for Ether. Once Casper is going to be implemented, they have already tested with the Casper team on the testnet. And then Disopsis is Disopsis used to be crypto market, if somebody has heard about them from our portfolio earlier. And they are out of Chile, one of the biggest exchanges in South America, which now they're operating out of Spain, I think. Yeah, they're operating out of Spain. And that's actually one of the reasons for us to go regionally in South America, of all the places, to start supporting the exchange at the early stage, because we truly believe that in the decentralized financial services, local regulations and compliances are going to change the game. And they're going to really define how your crypto to crypto, crypto to US, your derivative products, etc., are going to be accepted by the local population. So these were our equity investments very early on. As if I haven't specifically mentioned, when we started the fund, we had the idea that we're going to invest both equity and tokens, and we came up with a creative solution where we would go equity and token combination in the deals, and sometimes we would only do tokens or sometimes only equity. It was just like large array of things. So the interesting thing is, even though we were open to tokens, we actually didn't do much of utility tokens because our thesis were always, instead of pump and dump, which was very easy in 2017, a lot of people in this room would remember that era. How do we really figure out what is the utilization of those tokens? And with that in mind, our first token investment was Quantstamp, which is still around. It's automated security audits for smart contracts. We did Unicorn, which recently became the first company to get licensed to do online casinos in US territory. Prize is an ad platform. Wherever people are coming up with new tokens, they can advertise and give some tokens, airdrop tokens. And then Ink Protocol is an existing traditional company for over like 6 years. Listia is the name of the parent company, who decided to include incentive tokens for their shoppers, known as Ink. So these have been an array of investments in 17 and 18, which will give you an idea and overview of we move from scalability solutions to a lot of fintech products, exchanges, to staking protocols, to crypto wallets, and then something into the shopping incentives, etc. So we basically went anywhere all the way across the stack with one thing in common, that it has to be either blockchain agnostic or Ethereum, built on Ethereum. So 2018, looking back, I think most of the people in this room would agree with me that the whole dynamics shifted a lot last year. We started the year in January, February, when everybody is like, blockchain is the world to be in, everybody should move here, all the traditional VCs were calling in, and they were like, oh my God, we have to create $1 billion fund, we have to create a $500 million fund, and then we ended 2018, which everybody is saying, most of the traditional VCs saying blockchain is dead. So this year has been a very interesting one. But as a continued big, ardent fan of this technology, what has been our learning lessons for us to invest in 2019? The first one is tokenization. I mean, it would look very obvious talking that, oh, utility tokens are probably not going to be the future, or as a mass future as it looked like in 2017, everybody would be like, yeah, of course. But if you look at our portfolio, we were not really very bullish on them, even in 16 and 17. But we do believe that different ways of tokenization is still going to exist and going to still really revolutionize this space with the ethos of crowdsourcing as it started. But yes, a lot of pump and dump and moving your money and not having any real case behind it is not going to exist. And thank God for it, because I remember the days when people would come and really pitch anything and everything and would raise $30 million in 2 days. And I would be like, who are these people investing? I should be creating some random white paper and really picking up this $30 million instead of actually investing in projects. So I'm very happy those days are pretty much behind me. The second one is understanding of sustainable business models. Web3 is great, but it's also at a very, very early stage, and there are a lot of bottlenecks around this technology, around adoption, around how we are really taking the platform and thinking that everything is ready and tomorrow we can have 5 million users on the platform. In case anyone has forgotten, at the heyday time for CryptoKitties, it was when the whole mainnet broke down, 13,110 users. And that's the type of the big spike which we are talking about with respect to adoption and not able to support it. And the third and the most important thing which we realize is decentralized finance and gaming industry. These two were the fastest growing platforms over the last 2.5 years and continues to be. And those are the two places which also got the most adoption with respect to number of people out there, going through international all over the world, globally, and also being fastest adopted either by government or talked about, public authorities, private banks, etc. So we realized that decentralized finance is actually going to be the key for a lot of other adoptions to come in. Just to give you a quick overview, when we talk about decentralized finance and how this market was moving, this is still basically 2018, the number of crypto funds which continued to grow and continue to invest in the space. I would be very excited to see the 2019 number, and my prediction is there's going to be a big line down when the 2019 numbers come. But the amount in the crypto assets in billions of dollars continued to grow. And that was very exciting. But this number does include a lot of crypto trading volume just in Ether too. So very important thing, current bottlenecks. Because we can't talk about investing in any of the technologies or looking at the project without actually, as an investor, acknowledging the bottlenecks. And then going with the expectation, whether it's from the entrepreneur or it's from us, like the time horizon on which we are expecting our return. When we initially started, any fund, when they started in 16 and 17, they talked about that, oh, our liquidity is like 4 months away. These tokens are going to come out, they're going to get listed, or we basically, secondary market can buy it from us, so our liquidity is 4 months away. I think everybody has come together to say, our liquidity is not 4 months away. And if our liquidity is not 4 months away, and we are really now building the products, what are the bottlenecks and how long is it going to take? So scalability, design, interoperability, these three have been the key and biggest bottlenecks in the space. Now, do we expect an application layer products or somebody individual to solve it? No. I think this is an effort which is in the combination at the protocol layer and at the infrastructure layer coming together. Like Loom Network is helping out, a lot of side chains are coming out in it, a lot of scalability solutions are figuring out, Plasma, Starkware is working on it. But UX and UI is something which we do expect individual entrepreneurs to give us a way that how do they think there's going to be a mass adoption with or without people really knowing that they are on blockchain. Interoperability is another one because we are seeing that a lot of different blockchains are coming and really changing the game. How are we going to make sure that average user doesn't have to go through 16 wallets and figuring out different ways of moving into the system? Tools, developers' tools, training, projects building is still very cranky and very complex yet. Crypto speculations, I think people don't want to spend the gas money because that Ether could still go up to like $1,500 or $5,000 and they better use it for speculation instead of using Bitcoin and Ether for the real reason why it was originally created, for actually paying. Regulations are still unclear. They're getting better, but whenever we invest and we feel like, oh, somebody is making an amazing application in the legal space, but that could actually also get a lot of shit from SEC. So do we really want to be taking that risk when it's going to be unclear even if the product is ready for 3 years? So that has been one of the biggest worry as an investor, especially at this space. Privacy. I think private blockchains are great. Public blockchains are great based on what sector and what area you are building. But how do you really make a decision which part of the data goes on public blockchain and whether it's going in hash, whether it's going in a different form of data, and which one goes on the privacy layer? And how do you maintain the balance between privacy and transparency and owning the ethos of blockchain? I think that has become a very big question for us when we talk to a lot of entrepreneurs. And yes, anything and everything, especially if you're building the application layer protocol which has any interaction with wallets, how are you managing the people's wallet keys and custodianship, even if it's just a referral point going back to someone's wallet and you don't want to take ownership of custody, that's great. But like, how do you still manage that you are not leaving any sort of breadcrumbs for people to come and hack? So 2019 outlook. So from last 2 years, I think we decided that let's go and start figuring out the places we want to prioritize looking at. Said that if there is an entrepreneur who's amazing in building something, we literally decided not going to invest, but the team is so great, we are of course open to invest. But I think we came up with some of these focused areas and realized that we are actually very passionate about this as a team. So stable coins, lending platforms, security tokens. For me personally, I think have been a traditional investor for 11 years before I started Consensus Ventures. I'm very excited about how security tokens are really going to change the game, not only on fixed income derivative products and REITs and everything. I think my colleague Corbin already talked about that yesterday. But I'm really excited about how the Series B and Series C is going to come on security tokens. And a lot of these companies, like Airbnbs or Uber of the world, don't have to go through IPOs. How's that going to look like? How's the governance, transparency, et cetera, going to look like in those spaces, and the liquidity especially? P2P networking. I think the networking layers changing the scalability game is going to be very exciting. State channels, side channels, off-chain computations, verification simulators, etc. Till protocols like Ethereum and other places work out the scalability, I think those side chains, etc., are going to be our life keys. Then within security token, different infrastructure layers to it. I think it will be very interesting to see if the custody part, how is the custody part going to play out for individual companies in the security token space. Very excited about that. And then institutional investors. I think this market is going to go back to a big legitimate whale again, once we have those institutional investors having their faith back, and they have applications which they can use without the bottlenecks, whether on private chain, whether on public chain, but some sort of a system where your institutional investors feel comfortable with their custody, their asset managements. I'm not sure how am I doing on time. Okay. Very quickly, these are a couple of more areas. As I talked about gaming and collectibles, we feel that they are continue to rise. Developers, tools and infrastructure, privacy, preservation technologies. I do feel like snarks, stacks, etc., the confidential transaction methods with like layers of cryptography on top of it is going to be a big one, especially if you connect them back to the institutional investors. Payment system, I really hope a payment system comes where I can still use my Visa card and like have no idea what's happening on the back end, but gets the best deal with my data privacy on blockchain. That's going to be super exciting. And then I think decentralized databases has been a dream for quite some time. A search engine on the decentralized database, which does not take 10 minutes to search out something and have a really good graph protocol on top of it. So, with that lay of the land in 2019, I think a month back, we announced 2 companies recently, first 2 investments from 2019. The first one is Tenta, which is a VPN browser going on the line of data privacy, and they already have partnership with ExpressVPN now. So very excited. The team is out of Seattle and Asia. The second one is actually from France, Coinhouse. Very excited to do our first, actually our second French investment, because our first French investment was in our Tachyon company, and I want to give a shout out to our founder from Quidly. Hi, Justin. So that was our first from ventures, but second overall in our portfolio, Coinhouse. Coming out from the Ledger family, they are doing an exchange out here. Very excited about them. But I'm more excited about announcing our 2 new investments, which was recently closed. I think the first article went up announcing them this morning in French newspaper, PDEX and Ligro. So PDEX is an exchange coming out of Philippines, continuing our journey to invest into regional exchanges, which we really believe in the team and think they work with the local regulatory body to create creative products for the market. And Ligro is another scalability solution. Very strong team coming out of Israel, US, Berlin, coming together to create, and their first product is going to be for the auction houses and hedge funds to take away the scalability, transaction scalability issue out there. So very excited to basically work with them. And I quickly want to take 5 minutes to talk about a very interesting part of ventures. We started Tachyon, our first accelerator program last year. And we basically had teams from all over the world came to San Francisco last year. We had a demo day and 16 companies all over the place. And that basically gives us a sort of an insight into how teams are really building or what's the new trends coming. Because there are a lot of companies, a lot of entrepreneurs we meet where we feel like either they are not ready or we are not ready to make that commitment from the venture arm of Consensus. But we do feel that these are the projects and the teams we really want to be engaged in to see how they grow and how can we be part of it over time. And I think Tachyon is the solution for us, where we go very early in the projects. These projects are usually at this deck level or have their MVP or just got some initial users. It could range anywhere, but they are still very early. And we believe that for the long time journey, we need to go early and start working with them and also provide them an ecosystem if they are the international companies, have a lot of mentoring sessions from both ecosystem of consensus, blockchain, and the Web 2.0 world. So this was, just to give an overview, this is our inaugural Tachyon cohort. The projects range from everywhere. Pulse was the marketplace, Boulevard, Elcrum is an IoT space, Groundhog was another payment system in the marketplace using crypto and subscription model. Global Explorer was on our social impact track, which is taking antiquities over blockchain. Neo actually went on mainnet, have over 60,000 users. It's a payment, it's basically a mobile app for your hedge fund management, and you can actually trade not only your crypto, but also tokens. Quidly, which we just gave a shout out to, if you are an entrepreneur and you are just starting your cap table, you can start doing it on blockchain on Quidly. We have D Company out there, Wallet Connect, Fastex is the first coming out of China, the first transaction layer on Plasma, super successful. Netherstorm is a gaming platform where you can have like thousands of games across one platform. Piccolo, which just came out of the stealth mode, is doing the decentralized database search. Two Google engineers left Google and started the company, Fission, etc. So just to give an overview of our Tachyon companies. And now we are in the process of just starting our second cohort in April. And we decided to come to Europe to kickstart it. So we're going to kickstart on April 1st, actually at the German Parliament, which I cannot pronounce the name of. And so we are very excited. We are going to, by the end of this week, are actually going to announce the cohort and going to start working with them. So the first 2 weeks we're going to spend with the whole team in Germany, and the last 2 weeks back in SF with the demo day there. And very excited that we are working with AWS, Google Cloud, who are basically working with us on the Tachyon this time. So excited to be partner with them too. And I have a small video which our PR team made for our Tachyon, which I would love to show you guys. It's a 1-minute video, and I'm happy to take questions. Oh, you have to help me out with that. Thank you, and I think I'm pretty much done. Thank you so much for all your patience. Can I have another big round of applause for the EthCC team for hosting such an amazing conference, please? Do we have time for questions, or should we skip it? I'm sorry?
You will stay at the questions.